Well, to start, thank you for speaking with me today. To jump
Course.
into it, how would you describe your sound?
I like to describe my sound as Afrofusion, which is basically like a combination of Afrobeats and other genres, R&B, soul, pop. So it's just kind of a fusion of Afrobeats and other genres, so that way it can appeal to different audiences and not just like Afrobeats.
Yeah. Just tell us a little bit about your journey as a musician.
Um, I started music very young. Um, so to speak, I've always been around music, being in the choir growing up in Nigeria. But officially, my first single didn't come up until 2017. It was when I dropped my first song. But growing up, probably about around 8 years old, I started music, playing different instruments in the choir. But after I dropped my first single in 2017, I put it out, and a lot of people were like, "Yo, like you're actually good at this stuff, so just keep going." And I feel like after that first single, I just never stopped, and
Mhm.
it's been up since then.
Yeah. Who are some musical inspirations you've had throughout your life?
I've had a few. I've had a few musical inspirations. In Nigeria, I would say, obviously the pioneer of Afrobeats, which was Fela, starting out, and I also had some artists that my dad worked with, Shina Pitas, who was like a major Afro Juju artist, and more foreign. I was a big fan of Michael Jackson, so a lot of my sound I picked from there. T Pain as well, growing like whenever I started. So there's a few influences I pick up here and there.
Mhm. So your newest song, Hold Me Down, has like such a fun feel to it. How did this song come to be?
Hold Me Down it came around at a moment where I feel like I was at my lowest, just emotionally, and just with everything that was going on in my life at that time. So I wanted something that had a lot of emotion in it, that people could relate to, kind of thing. So I started recording "Hold Me Down." I think I recorded it in Dallas. Um, we recorded it, and I was like, who would be the perfect fit for it? So I had my one of my colleagues, BM Castle, help on it as well. So we recorded it together in the studio, and then there was like a space for a second verse that we had, and we just put Timmy on, who's an artist based out of Lagos, Nigeria. He's really good. So I was like, okay, who can I add to this track to make it like cater to more people's emotions, kind of thing.
Yeah. So Story of the Album is like a really collaborative piece of work. What was it like working on that?
It was great. It was a big moment for me in my musical career. Because starting out, I had performed at I think it was Joe Boy, who was a Nigerian artist as well. It was on tour, and I had performed at one of his shows when like a record label mogul in out of Dallas heard me perform. I was like, wait, I like how you sound. Let's work at something. She's Colombian, um, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm bringing in this producer from Colombia, who it is really good. If you want to work with them, I'm like, hell yeah!" So we went out there in Dallas. We recorded 8 songs that day. So that's the 8 songs on the album. But all the songs we recorded in like 3 days. It was a great experience because I'd never recorded music like that.
Mhm.
So everything was from scratch. Was a lot of emotions went into it. A lot of the songs that tell a different story that we want to tell. So I think it was a big moment for me in my career.
Oh, yeah. Out of your entire discography, what is a favorite song for you to perform?
I was just talking about that actually. I think me performing at this South by, which was like 2 days ago,
Mhm.
I realized how much love I have to performing with performing Life of the Party. That's the title of the song.
Oh,
So I performed that. I was like, wait, this because I also went like with the vibe that I got from the audience, and it was so genuine, and everyone was like bumping to it. I was like, okay, I love performing this song. That's not to say like obviously I like performing all my other songs,
yeah.
but I think more recently, and I feel like it kind of changes.
Mhm.
It kind of changes as well. So I mean, but as of right now, it's Life of the Party.
Uh, who are some artists you would like to collaborate with?
There is a few of them. Back in Nigeria, obviously, I would like to work with Burna Boy, Burna Boy, Wizkid, and Fireboy. I feel like is one that is not obviously as in the limelight as Burna's and Wiz, but that's someone I love to collaborate with. And then in the U.S., Chris Brown. I'm a big fan of Chris Brown. Michael Jackson, if he if he was alive, I would have loved to. And then I'll say T Pain as well.
Yeah. That'd be a good one for you, based on what I've heard.
Yeah,
What does it mean to you to be part of South by Southwest this year?
it's amazing. It's amazing. I feel like the last few South bys that I've played at have been an invite from like the showcase organizer, but this one was different because this was directly from South by themselves. So getting a slot was amazing. I remember when I got that email, I was out in Nigeria and I was just waiting, like, oh, am I gonna get it this year? Am I gonna get it this year? And then I got the email and I looked at it. I remember pulling up my phone. I looked at it. I closed it immediately. I was just so happy. Like I didn't know how to express it. But it was amazing just getting to perform, and I feel like is obviously is a great opportunity to get my music out to like new audiences, and I feel like everyone that attend South by, especially the music festival, is open to music, right? Open to good music. So I feel like it's not as hard as a curve it would be if like they weren't as open, trying to like perform for an audience that wasn't, what I'm saying. So it's good. It's amazing. And I hope next year I'll be back doing it again. But this year has been such a great moment for me.
How did you approach putting together a set list for your performance?
Okay, so it was so obviously first off I had the Story album, so I'm like, and I feel like Story the album is like a perfect depiction of who I am as an artist. Like every song is kind of different. It has like a different flavor to it. So I'm like, initially I was like, you know what, let me just perform this album, and that would be it. That kind of tells each story of who I am as an artist. But then again, I was like, I could still do that with my other songs as well. So when I got the set time, when I was like, they were like, oh, 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, 30 minutes, I can feel about 7, 8 songs and still do my thing on stage. That's when, so most of the songs I performed were from the album just because I felt like they had different flavors to it. So all the flavors I have to offer, I feel like were in there. And then I performed Hold Me Down as well because that was my most recent one. So yeah, that was the approach. Whenever I was picking songs, I was like, okay, let me give all I have to offer as an artist in different flavors. So whenever was picking the song, that was what was going through my head.
Perfect little summary of it.
Yeah.
What does the rest of 2025 look like for you and your music?
Um, just more music, more. I'll be putting out a lot of singles, a lot of collaborations with other artists. I don't think I'm gonna put out a project this year just because I want to focus on like putting out each singles and putting all our resources towards that. Um, but overall, I'm just open to collaboration, not just with other artists, with like different brands, record labels, and things like that.
And as like a final fun question we like to ask everyone, what would you just like to say to your fans and supporters of your music?
Um, well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for just listening to me, supporting me this far. I feel like I wouldn't be here today not without my fans, or just like listening to my songs, sharing it with their friends, and putting on these different social media platforms. So I really appreciate that. Um, and I just wanted to know, like, I'm not stopping anytime soon. Gonna keep going in every way that I feel like we just keep putting my name out there. I'm gonna keep going till the very end, and if they wanted to keep up with me or anyone wanted to keep up with me, it's just JRAY official on all platforms, all social media platforms anyway. JRAY official with 2 L's at the end. And just thank you. Thank you so much for rocking with me.